Hey there fellow Planeswalkers, it's Steve for Collector Mania, and we are continuing on with Alternate Tuesdays. So today we're actually going to take a look at a brand new commander from Core Set 2019. Psy Master Thopterist. So 2 colors and a blue, 1/4 legendary creature, human artificer of course. Whenever you cast an artifact spell, create a 1/1 colorless Thopter artifact creature token with flying, and then you can pay a colorless and a blue, sacrifice 2 artifacts, draw a card. Overall, an amazing creature. I really like this card. I'm actually brewing up a full Commander deck tech here pretty soon. I'll try and get that up probably either the end of this week or next week. I am planning on going camping here pretty soon, so that might put a damper on things. But just know that so far the deck testing has been ridiculous. This commander is actually bonkers. He's most likely my favorite commander out of the entire set. Once again, I know that sounds crazy with all these multicolored dragons running around, but this card is just insane for artifact builds. So anyway, with that, let's go ahead and break into the deck tech. So, of course, this is the Brawl format, so 60 cards. Generally, I stick around about 22 to 23 lands. I feel like that's an appropriate amount. Everything else, you know, just everything that's standard legal, essentially. So, the one caveat here is that a lot of these cards are actually from Kaladesh, so keep in mind this deck will rotate pretty soon, which is really unfortunate. I'm kind of crossing my fingers and hoping that they do something about Brawl and just make it like an extended format where, well, not extended, but like a modern Commander format where it's just like from, I don't know, Kaladesh forward, it's just legal or something like that. Anyway, we'll see what happens. I know that there was a big rules announcement here, like today, I think, actually, on the Mothership website that kind of gave us a little bit more insight into what they're thinking. So, anyway, with that, let's break into it. So, of course, we've got Karn, Scion of Urza. We are running an artifact build, so this guy just makes 100% sense in here. Being able to make those tokens and just draw cards potentially, yeah, just really good, really good. And then, of course, the new shiny penny. And that's Tezzeret, Artifice Master. This card's absolutely insane as well. I know that we actually just did a deck tech on Tezzeret with Brawl, and this is kind of like, I guess, the alternate version where Tezzeret's in the deck. So anyway, 3 colors, 2 blue, 5 loyalty, Tezzeret of course. +1, create a 1/1 colorless Thopter artifact creature token with flying. 0, draw a card. If you control 2 or 3 or more artifacts, draw 2 cards instead. -9, you get an emblem with at the beginning of your end step. Search your library for a permanent card, put it onto the battlefield, then shuffle your library. Overall, an amazingly powerful Planeswalker. Breaking into our creatures here, we've got a Hope of Ghirapur, so just a really interesting like control counter. So if you're up against a lot of those control Brawl decks where they're just nailing you with a bunch of instants and sorceries, you can sacrifice this and kind of get around, and maybe it's like your finishing blow and you just need for sure to be able to do what you want to do. So just an interesting creature. Then we've got Merchant's Dockhand, a good way to dig through our deck. And we've got Voltaic Servant. We run a lot of artifacts that really need untapping, Traxos being a big one, so this guy's actually pretty cool in this deck. Chief of the Foundry, of course, making our flyers 2/2s, and then, you know, that just gets even better. We kill people even faster. Then we've got a Filigree Familiar. This is essentially the Solemn Simulacrum of Standard right now. It's not as good, of course, but it definitely does quite a bit for its cost. Foundry Inspector. Making artifact spells cost 1 less is amazing, and this guy fits right into the deck build. They've got a Scrap Trawler, so a little bit of recursion here. I keep playing around with this card, and I keep enjoying it, so I mean, it keeps staying in decks, essentially, so it's definitely pretty good. I've got a Skilled Animator, so this is going to be pretty interesting. Turning one of our 1/1s into a 5/5 flyer is pretty powerful. Then I've got a Skittering Surveyor, a little bit of land grab. Trophy Mage to find some of our 3-drops. Jhoira's Familiar, once again making our artifact spells cost 1 less, and this one has the advantage of making our historic spells cost 1 less as well. So any like the Planeswalkers, Psy, any legendary creatures, that works perfect. So I'm pretty sure this reduces most of the deck. Then I've got Padeem, Council of Innovation, make those Thopters and all of our other artifacts hexproof, really powerful, plus being able to most likely have the highest converted mana cost artifact and then just draw a card. I mean, we're in mono blue, that's what we want to do. Then we've got a Quicksmith Spy. I've been playtesting this a ton in regular Commander, and I absolutely love this card. I know it doesn't seem like much, but actually it ends up being pretty powerful. Then Traxos, of course. This is basically one of our big finishers. So if our little Thopters aren't getting the job done, we have this 7/7 with Trample that is just absolutely ridiculous and powerful. Then we've got a Torrential Gearhulk. We have quite a few instants in the deck, so this actually works out quite a bit. Plus it's just a 5/6 speeder when we need it to be, and it's got flash as well, so yeah, all the advantages there. And Metalwork Colossus, another great giant creature. Then past that, we're breaking to our normal artifacts, so we've got a Mox Amber. I've been playtesting this with the deck, and actually it works really, really well. I haven't really enjoyed it in a lot of decks, but because Sai is so cheap, this actually works really well in here. They've got a Rogue's Gloves, so think about equipping one of those flying Thopters and just hitting somebody and drawing a card. Works out pretty well in my mind. Treasure Map, being able to scry one, kind of set up things, and then sacrifice tokens, add mana, and then of course on the flip side turn it into a land. Then you can now sacrifice treasures and draw a card. Pretty powerful. I've got a Cultivator's Caravan. I love the vehicles in this deck. I only included like one or two, but I just think it's an interesting idea. Just being able to animate your guy later on and attack with him. I mean, that's been the advantage of vehicles in my mind since they came out. I've got a Transmogrifying Wand, so pretty good removal. I mean, it's not amazing, but it's pretty decent. It'll at least handle 3 creatures. I've got a Conqueror's Galleon. I've said this a million times, this is essentially like a staple in the format in my opinion. It's an amazing card, it does everything you want it to do on the flip side, like being able to pay 2 tap draw cards and discard is amazing, be able to pay 4 tap draw cards is amazing, be able to pay 6 tap return target card from your graveyard to your hand is ridiculous. It's just an amazing overall card. I've got a Panharmonicon. I need more copies of this card already, it's ridiculous. I have like 8 at this point and it's just fitting into so many decks. It makes 100% sense here. You just play an artifact, it triggers Sai's ability. You get 2 Thopters instead of 1. Now you can pay to sacrifice just those 2 Thopters instead of having to play 2 artifacts to get 2 artifacts kind of thing. So it just, overall advantage is amazing. Gilded Lotus, a little bit of mana ramp. Gonti's Aether Heart, we're most likely to be taking extra turn pretty quick. Then Favorable Winds, another way to pump up our flyers, and that's essentially what we're trying to do, is just create mono blue skies and then just kill everybody with flyers, little flyers. Then we've got a Blink of an Eye, so some removal. Negate, good counterspell. Pull from Tomorrow, good draw spell. Disallow, a really good counterspell. This is probably my favorite that they've printed in the last couple of years besides maybe Mystic Confluence. Then we've got a Commit to Memory. This being our only reshuffle effect, so keep that in mind. I really like Commit to Memory for that reason. Once again, I'm kind of sad that it's rotating out here pretty soon, but hopefully they'll give us something else that's comparable to this. And then we've got Secrets of the Golden City, just a good draw spell. Brawl's Expertise, good way to return some of those artifacts, or yeah, bounce some artifacts, and then play them again. Reverse Engineer. Arch of Araska. Desert of the Mindful, Detection Tower, Inventor's Fair, Reliquary Tower, and I believe the rest are islands. So anyway, I hope you guys have enjoyed this Brawl deck tech. I'm really looking forward to playing around with this in Brawl. Our format, as far as like our local stores, kind of died down quite a bit. Not very many people are playing it, but hopefully, you know, maybe once they get all this rotation business figured out and all that stuff, we'll maybe see a little bit of a resurgence. Either way, I hope you guys are still enjoying the format. It definitely looks like a lot of fun, and yeah, we'll hopefully get a deck tech up for this for regular Commander here pretty soon. With that, have a good day, and we'll see you guys next time.